Good afternoon. This is another segment of an interview. Please welcome Lindsay Stromgren, Lieutenant Fire Chief from Amherst Fire Department, and Beth Pearson from Pearson Wallace Insurance. I'm Isaac Papero, a marketing intern and a UMass student working with Beth in a semester-long project. So if we could start out, Lindsay, would you please tell us a little bit about what you do currently?
Yeah, I'm the Assistant Fire Chief here at the Amherst MA Fire Department. I oversee operations, which is kind of a broad term, but largely I deal with the infrastructure, the buildings, the vehicles, equipment, communications, and some of the training with some of our personnel also.
And how has your response been to the new coronavirus outbreak?
The first couple of weeks were a challenge for us. Everybody was scrambling to figure out what this was all going to mean and be prepared for worst case scenarios. And, that involved everything from contingency plans, if a lot of personnel got sick, if our call volume went up, ordering more supplies like everybody else, masks, disinfecting equipment, etc. We weathered those couple of weeks, and I think it paid off because we actually have not been hard hit. None of our personnel have gone out sick, and we've been dealing with the increase in flu-like calls, overall decrease in some of our other calls with the colleges closed. But our personnel are stressed, but we feel like we're sort of braced for the storm that still might come.
That's great.
Well, I know on behalf of all of us, we really appreciate all the servicemen and women for their work this far in the process. So thank you.
Yes, thank you and your team. I also think you do something else in addition to COVID right now, an additional job. Is that correct?
I work for the State Fire Marshal's Office, Special Operations, and we're helping run the COVID testing sites at the Foxboro, Gillette Stadium, and at the Big E. So I've been pulling shifts there like once a week to help with that also.
That's so impressive. Thanks for all you do, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
Really, really appreciate it.
So shifting over to the insurance side and part of our conversation, could you talk a little bit about your experience this far as a client of Pearson Wallace?
Sure. I had my insurance carried by another vendor and a national company for years and years, both home and auto. And then a couple of years ago was sweet talked by another large national company into switching over with lots of promises, which was okay, but nothing super paid off. And they weren't willing to help us out on any new endeavors. And then Beth, we met through the Chamber of Commerce, of which we're both members, started her agency, and we talked to her, and she put a very attractive package together for both our home and our auto. I have two teenagers, so we're a 4-car family. I think for a while we had 5, right?
You did.
Before an incident, which I can discuss in a minute, we lost one. So we actually had 5 vehicles in a house.
And an umbrella. I think we were an umbrella too.
An umbrella for overall coverage. Yep. So we put a package together, and we've been with you for just a little over a year now, correct?
That's right.
I've been very happy with that because unfortunately we got one both positive stories, but one very positive buying a new vehicle, and one unfortunately an accident, but that went well.
Would you mind talking about the accident and Pearson Wallace's response to that?
Sure. Yeah, my daughter unfortunately totaled her car one Saturday night back in November at like 1 a.m. Fortunately, she was okay. Nobody else was injured, but the car was totaled, unfortunately, and damaged to a second vehicle. It, of course, happened on a night where I was supposed to leave the next morning for a week-long course up in New Hampshire. I was supposed to leave by 11 a.m. So being up all night and having a totaled car in the family was not looking good for that Sunday. But I reached out to Beth, and to be honest, it was emails, a couple phone calls, and I think the ball was rolling. I was able to leave later that day for my week-long course. We did some more correspondence back and forth during the week with her and with the carrier, and everything got taken care of. Never actually had to go to any office to do anything. It was all processed, I'll say relatively seamlessly, dealing with an incident like that. And like I said, the car was totaled, so in the end, there was a payout on that.
Yeah, it's always great when we have a partner to help us with total losses, and I think the overall experience with that carrier was positive. I
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else I could have said that, well, I wish it had gone this way, or other than the car not getting totaled, of course. There's nothing else I could say, well, it would have been easier if this had happened or that had happened, or we could have done it this way. Well, I can't call it hands off, but after an email and a couple calls with Beth, it almost was hands off from my end. We didn't have to do much after that.
That's great.
It's great. Thank you. And, as you said, you have a family and multiple cars.
Mm-hmm.
With the umbrella insurance, has it helped to save any money in the process?
Yeah, the umbrella insurance was new to me, so I don't have anything to compare that to, but I can definitely say that the homeowners and the auto for all of our vehicles definitely was a much more competitive rate than what we had been paying, and then the umbrella, literally on top of that, was included in that price. So we actually got the umbrella and the auto and home for less than what I was paying for the auto and home previously.
That's great.